This is an Arizona Pipeline training video on inventory tracking with paperwork. One of the responsibilities of a foreman is to keep track of their inventory used during the progress of their job. This tracking will give us accurate records for company inventory and will result in decreased expenses. When getting inventory from the APL warehouse, the supervisor of the warehouse will keep the white copy, make a copy for office records, and the foreman keeps the yellow copy. The yellow copy that the foreman keeps on hand must be used as a reference for filling out their own paperwork. Your yellow copy must be kept on hand to account for all your inventory when filling out weekly partial reports and completes. This will save time and help you recall all the inventory you got from the warehouse. Remember, all your paperwork for that job should be accounted for in your complete packet. This means all inventory used, returned, or scraps thrown away should be documented. Inventory is assigned to APL from Southwest Gas. It is then on the APL books until it is accounted for. APL is responsible to pay for lost and undocumented inventory. In this training video, we will cover commonly used forms, TARE, partials and completes, inventory breakdown, and how inventory works. These are some of Arizona Pipeline's commonly used forms. Inventory request sheet, white sheet for the warehouse and yellow sheet for the foreman. Mains, construction order, CO and SLST. Services, accelerated construction, AC and SX. If the job takes longer than 1 week, you must turn in a partial weekly. There you document the inventory that you have used up to that point. Check with your superintendent on what day you turn in your partial. When the job is finished, then the complete job packet is turned in, including all the weekly partials. All inventory checked out must be accounted for on these forms. Parts are taken from Southwest Gas to Arizona Pipeline inventory. The inventory is then on APL's books. Foreman uses an inventory request form at the warehouse to check out the parts needed for the job. If there are parts that are not used for the job, then turn in a material transfer return slip. By using a transfer slip, all the inventory can be accounted for. If there are extra parts that are damaged or parts that can't be used, they should be charged off as TARE. The 6-inch PVC sleeving TARE would be shown on your paperwork as G TARE 100-9000 or S TARE 100-9000. Remember to include footage of what is accounted for as TARE. All materials, either installed or TARE, need to be accounted for on your paperwork for both partials and completes. Copies of all these forms are kept in your job file in the main office at all times for your viewing if needed. All inventory needs to be tracked to the WR number assigned to the job. If inventory checked out is used for a different WR, then you are required to fill out a transfer slip and notify the warehouse so they can assign the inventory to the new WR. Fill out a material transfer return slip to notify the warehouse so they can assign the new WR. By using a transfer slip, all of the inventory can be accounted for. Remember, any extra inventory that isn't used for one job, that is used for another job, a material transfer return slip is required. Some common jobs have separate part numbers and each one needs to be tracked individually. Be aware that each part is assigned to its own part number and you must be careful to document every part. Here are a few examples. When installing valves, 5 parts are required: the valve itself, the valve base, the valve box, a debris cap, and a gas lid. There are also 5 parts for the 2-inch riser: the riser, a 2-inch 90-degree elbow, a 2-inch steel plug, a 1-inch stopcock, a 1-inch steel plug. There are 3 parts documented for this steel to PE transition with a reducer: the 3-way T, a steel reducer, and a steel to PE transition. There are only 2 parts for the steel to PE transition: the 3-way T and the steel to PE transition. There are 2 parts documented for the test points: the extension only and the test lid. If inserting through an existing 3/4 inch riser, a service head adapter is used. Ensure you charge off the correct part number for either a short or a long service head adapter, and also include the stopcock if it is used in your job. Remember, it's important to account for all parts checked out from the warehouse in your paperwork. Either AC or CO, with either installed inventory or tear. Any extra inventory that is checked out for one job, but it is used for another job, you must use a material transfer return slip and notify the warehouse. Remember, neatness counts, and if we all work together as a team, it will benefit us all. Accurate tracking with your inventory will cut down on paperwork corrections and lower the APL unaccounted for inventory.